My name is Paul Hackenmuller. I work for HANI with Elena and a number of other people here. I'm also the regional catalyst for economic development as a member of the Sustainable Southeast Partnership, which you'll probably hear some things about this weekend. Before I announce the winner of the Big Pitch in the Morning competition, thanks again to JDC for inviting HANI to participate on the steering committee. It's a terrific event. We're glad to be here. Thanks to the sponsors for this event, the Lady Foundation, Cycle Alaska, and McGivney's. Without them, we wouldn't have the prize that we're about to give this one lucky entrepreneur. And also thanks to all of you. With your help and with the help of our sponsors, we managed to raise $1,110 to give to the winner of today's pitch. So it's a nice little kitty to go home with. The votes have been tallied. Without further ado, I'd like to please bring to the stage and congratulate Bobby Daniels of the Sawmill Farm in Sitka, Alaska, for the best pitch.
Thank you. Oh, wow. I will try not to get manure on it. I'll try really hard. Thank you. Obviously, this is something that you believe in, and I told a couple of you that the comment that I keep getting over and over again when I tell people what we're doing is people say, "That's brilliant." I'm like, well, this is really the way people used to farm. There was no waste, and so more than brilliant, I'm mostly just old. And I remember when farms ran that way. When I came here to Southeast Alaska, I grew up in Indiana in the middle of a bunch of farms and kind of watched it change from family farm to agribusiness when I was in high school and college. And I came here to Southeast Alaska and I was just shocked that we have such challenges living in Southeast Alaska, and one of those challenges is garbage, and we can take care of a lot of it if we just, well, it's a lot of hard work. Maybe there was just nobody else dumb enough to do the hard work, but there I am. But it's working, and we're really excited, and hopefully you'll be seeing a lot more of us in the next year. Thank you very much.
Also, don't forget about the Experience Juneau event we have going on later this afternoon. We have options of McGivney's, so a preview of the new McGivney's, the Baranoff, so it's more white glove butler service, and then we have Rockwell, so a lot of local fare and jazz. So be sure to check that out. We'll have a bus at the front at 6 p.m. to take you to Rockwell or Baranoff if you don't feel like walking. So now I'd like to make an announcement and like to welcome Juneau Hydropower. Keith Comstock is a technologist, innovator, and an entrepreneur who decided over a decade ago to make Juneau his home. Keith and his wife, Sharon, have been busy raising 3 children, and they are active participants in our community. In 2009, Juneau Hydropower was created. On December 14, 2009, Juneau Hydropower received their preliminary permit for the Sweetheart Lake Hydroelectric Project. Keith and his partners are here today to share an update on Juneau Hydropower, as well as an exciting new announcement. So please welcome Keith Comstock.
Good morning. Good morning. So today is Mardi Gras. Is that right? Any big celebrations planned for this evening? It's Mardi Gras and I guess a vote in New Hampshire. So for all the Trump fans out there, I guess this is your day. Anyway, Winston Churchill said that his most brilliant achievement was ability to persuade his wife to marry him. I agree with that. My wife Sharon and I first visited Southeast Alaska and Juneau about 16 years ago. And kind of fell in love with it. And by 2006, we had made the decision to relocate here. I have been fortunate to spend a career in technology and specifically in applications and enterprise software, and have been fairly successful and a lot of the things that I've done. As my career progressed, we had the very rare and fortunate opportunity to really locate anywhere. And, the fact that, there are outdoor activities here, a vibrant arts and culture community, the fact that Alaska Airlines has pretty good jet service here, it's a somewhat semi-remote maritime environment that made it just a great place to raise children. And so, for most of the time that we've been here, that's been our primary focus is, raising our kids. There are a few other things that we did, and one of those was creating Juneau Hydropower back in 2009. At the time, our mission statement was and remains to stimulate and encourage economic growth in our region by providing affordable clean energy solutions to meet both today's unmet current energy needs and to proactively anticipate future energy needs to enable self-sufficiency and competitiveness for our community. And that's what got us started with the Sweetheart Lake Electric Project, which will be about a $125 million investment that, depending upon the final approval of our FERC license and our 404 permits, should begin construction a little later this summer. For those of you, and that's pretty good news, but that's not the announcement today, because I think a lot of you know that. For those of you who don't know, the Sweetheart Lake facility is about 30 miles south of town on Gilbert Bay, and we'll utilize Sweetheart Lake, which is about a 5-mile high-altitude lake, and we'll connect into the Snettisham grid about 8 miles north of there. So, and on that, I would like to, just thank those who have helped us with that. This was our first hydro project. I'm a technologist. It wasn't something we'd ever done before, and so we chose to use, a somewhat little-used process called the alternate licensing process, where basically you could collaboratively deal with the stakeholders, the community, the government agencies, and so we did that. We began that process, not knowing whether the project would make sense or would be economically viable, and we've had a lot of help. And I would like to thank the Forest Service, Marty Marshall, Brad Orr, Beth Pendleton, and all the Juneau District Ranger staff. We worked with the Alaska DNR, the Division of Mining, Land and Water, Alaska Fish and Game, the Hydropower and Habitat Division, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, the DEC, DIPAC. I'm going to forget somebody, it's like the Oscars. National Marine Fisheries, the Army Corps, the Douglas Indian Association, Tlingit Haida Central Council, and the environmental community, not only at the grassroots, but several of the local organizations, and we had a lot of support from the environmental organization, which was maybe a little different than some other development projects. And I just want to just single out Greenpeace, who in my brief knowledge of Greenpeace, I don't know of anything they've ever supported, but I really thank them for their support. And that was exciting. And I also want to thank all the folks who work for us, and we call those the ISTs. If you have an IST in your name or your title, perhaps you've worked for Juneau Hydropower. And what I mean by that is a biologist, a botanist, a geologist, an archaeologist, hydrologist. The list is long. But we built this with, or we designed this with Juneau, not only Juneau money, but Juneau values, which makes it a very unusual hydropower development. And we've gotten to where we are without grants or public subsidies of any kind. And we'll be hiring a nationally recognized general contractor who actually knows how to build a hydropower plant. I think that's a bit much for a small team in Juneau to take that endeavor. So we'll be bringing in a nationally respected general contractor. But we've been working with the local labor community and local businesses, and wherever possible, we intend to hire local and use local resources. So that's, thank you. So that's just a brief history on what's been going on since 2009. So it's been just about 5 years to get to the point where we're on the verge of license. To me, that seems like a long, long time. I'm told that we're at about half of the national average, so we're actually moving along quickly for a project like this. But it doesn't feel that way from if you're writing checks. It seems like it's been a long time. So we're here to make an announcement this morning, and so many of the community have known for a long time that we were working on the hydroelectric project, but we've been working on some other things, and the reason why we decided to make this announcement here, and I'll come and address this, we're going to show a short video here in just a second, is because of the leadership of the JEDC and the Innovation Summit and some of the renewable energy clusters. And there's a saying that success has many fathers, but failure is an orphan. This really couldn't have happened and wouldn't have happened without ideas and thoughts that were promoted by the city, were promoted by the JEDC. And when I show the video, it'll be a little more apparent what I'm saying, but I want to hold off to talk about it just right after it's done. But, Brian, I just want to thank this organization for your leadership in the community. Juneau Hydropower, for the most part, we've had a corporate policy of not talking to the media a lot and not being involved, talking ourselves up. I think Henry Ford said that, a reputation doesn't exist on things you're gonna do. It's on things you've already done. And so it didn't make a lot of sense when we were doing the studies and when we were doing the financial analysis to do a lot of talking about it. But, at this point, we hope to be in construction a little later on this year. It's about time to, maybe talk about it a little louder. And we just thought this was the perfect venue because it couldn't happen. It would not have happened without the inspiration and leadership demonstrated in this room. So do we want to show the video? Okay. Thank you. Basically a seawater heat pump based district heating system. This system is built using American technology, but it's American technology that has never been deployed in America. There's an existing plant in Drammen, Norway, that's been successfully operating since 2011, and because of the savings available with this solution, they were able to basically recover their capital expenditures in the first 3 years of operation. So it's a pretty exciting technology. But again, I want to thank the JDC and the Renewable Energy Working Cluster Group, one, for bringing our contractor, Evergreen Energy, to Juneau as you were looking at district heating possibilities around the Willoughby district and heating discussions that were held there. Also, I want to thank the Ted Stevens Marine Research Institute heat pump project for being our original inspiration. That was the brainchild of Jack Christensen and Jim Rayfield with Alaska Energy Engineering. A team of people, including John Cooper, Gordon Garcia, Tom Abbas, and many others, invested their time and energy into a project which reduced their fuel consumption out at the center annually by over 130,000 gallons of oil, which is, amazing. And, I know that they were at the White House to receive an award from the president for what they've done. And so I want to thank you for that. Thank you, John. I'd also like to recognize Andy Baker. Is Andy here? Andy Baker is with the Alaska Sea Life Center in Seward. And Andy, I want to thank you for pushing the technology envelope and helping make Alaska a world leader in this technology. This is a technology that had its first implementation in Juneau. It went to Seward, got better, went out of the country, got even better, and now we're going to bring it back home. I'd also like to thank the 70-plus property owners. This is a quote-unquote big reveal announcement. I'm sure a lot of people, maybe most of the people in this room, had some idea what we were up to. You can't go to 70 owners and 100 and some buildings in downtown and knock on the door and go look at their boiler room and ask to see copies of their heat bills without somebody getting an idea that you're maybe trying to do something. And so I want to thank, if you're one of the owners or a government building manager, I want to thank you for all the help that you gave us to make sure that this thing would be economically viable. I also want to thank Devin Kibbe and Owen Kelly, some of our young, bright talent in this town, for their help and with the engineering and preliminary analysis. Also, we have with us Alan Shimchek with Emerson, who's here today. Emerson Technologies is an American-based global company that's about $23 billion a year. It's their technology that's going to make this possible. Basically, for maybe many people in this room, when you think about Juneau Hydropower, you think about Duff Mitchell. And Duff is the general manager. And he's a very modest guy, and he insisted I come up here and take all the acclaim for this. But this project never could have succeeded without the vision and the drive and determination of Commander Mitchell, who has done so much for this state. So thank you, Duff. So this is an exciting project, not only for Juneau, but for what else it might be able to do for communities in Southeast and other communities around the country. And so I don't know how I've done on my time. It looks like I'm right on time. But at 11 o'clock, we have a detailed presentation on what we're doing. I think it's in the Hammond Room. We'd very much like to invite you to come and attend that and learn more. And I'll be around, and our team will be around. I think a lot of them are on the back wall there, if you have questions or just want to learn more. So anyway, that's it. Thank you very much. Good morning.